A soft morning haze hung over the small town as people hurried through their usual routines. But today, something different was about to unfold, something that would touch thousands of hearts. It began with a single dad named Jake, a man who had already seen more struggle than most people twice his age. And it began with a car that broke down in the middle of a quiet street, and a stranger who had no idea her life was about to change forever. What Jake didn't know was that the kindness he showed that morning would return to him in a way he never imagined. And what she didn't know was that she was about to offer him something that would rewrite his future. But before we dive into this emotional story, make sure to subscribe, like, and comment to support the channel, Kindness World. Your engagement helps us bring more heartfelt stories just like this one. Jake was a single dad doing his best to raise his 7-year-old daughter, Lily. Life hadn't been easy. His wife had passed away 3 years earlier, leaving him alone with a child and a world of unanswered questions. He worked 2 part-time jobs, one at a hardware store and another fixing small engines out of his garage. Money was tight, but he always made sure Lily had what she needed, even if it meant he went without. That morning, Jake was driving Lily to school when he spotted a silver SUV stopped on the side of the road. The hood was up, steam was rising, and a woman stood there looking lost, frustrated, and on the verge of tears. Cars kept passing by, each driver pretending not to notice. Jake looked at Lily, then at the woman, and without hesitation, he pulled over. "Stay in the car, sweetheart," he told Lily gently. "I'll just see if she needs help." The woman looked up when he approached, her eyes red and desperate. "Do you know anything about cars?" she asked, sounding embarrassed. "I know a little," Jake said with a humble smile. "Let me take a look." She stepped aside as Jake leaned over the engine. Within minutes, he realized the issue: the belt had slipped, and the engine had overheated. It wasn't a serious problem, but it wasn't something she could fix on her own. Jake grabbed a few tools from the trunk of his old pickup and worked quickly, wiping sweat from his brow as the sun climbed higher. The woman watched him the entire time, amazed by his patience and calmness. Most people, she thought, wouldn't have stopped. But here was this stranger, tired, wearing old jeans, hands rough from hard work, helping her without expecting anything in return. When he finally closed the hood, he said, "You should be good to go now. Just take it easy on the engine until it cools fully." She tried offering him money, but Jake shook his head. "No, ma'am. Just glad I could help." Her eyes softened. "At least give me your name. I want to thank you properly." "Jake," he said, wiping his hands on a rag. "And that's my daughter Lily." The woman smiled warmly at the little girl waving from the truck window. "Thank you, both of you," she said, her voice thick with gratitude before driving off. Jake didn't think much of it. He'd done what he felt was right. To him, kindness wasn't a reward, it was a choice. The next day started like any other. Jake dropped Lily at school, then returned home and prepared for another long day of fixing lawnmowers and old machines in his garage. Around noon, he heard a car pull up outside. He stepped out, expecting a customer, but froze when he saw the same silver SUV from the day before. The woman stepped out, but this time she wasn't alone. A well-dressed man followed her, carrying a small briefcase. Jake felt a sudden knot in his stomach. Was something wrong with the car after all? "Hi, Jake," she greeted with a bright smile. "I hope I'm not interrupting." "Not at all," he replied, confused. "Everything okay?" She nodded. "More than okay. I couldn't stop thinking about what you did yesterday. You didn't ask who I was. You didn't hesitate. You just helped. People don't do that much anymore." Jake shrugged lightly. "Sometimes people just need a hand." The man beside her stepped forward. "Jake, my name is Daniel. I'm her business partner. We run a company that's expanding, and we're looking for someone honest, hardworking, and good with mechanical equipment." She told me about you, and, well, we'd like to offer you a job. A job? Jake blinked, stunned. The woman nodded. A full-time position. Good pay, health benefits, everything. I saw the way you worked. The world needs more people like you, and we'd be lucky to have you with us. Jake felt his chest tighten. No one had ever offered him something like this before. I don't know what to say. Say yes, Daddy, a small voice chirped. They turned to see Lily running toward him from the school bus stop. She wrapped her arms around his leg, grinning up at him with pure excitement. Jake laughed softly, emotion filling his eyes. Let me think for a moment. He crouched down to Lily. Sweetheart, what do you think? I think, she said confidently, that good things finally came because you're always nice. Jake stood up, his throat tight. He looked at the woman and Daniel. I don't know what made you choose me, but thank you. I accept. Relief washed over their faces. We'll get the paperwork started, Daniel said, shaking Jake's hand. Welcome to the team. But the woman wasn't done. She kneeled so she was eye level with Lily. And you, she told the little girl, should be very proud of your dad. He changed someone's day, and now we get to change his. Lily beamed, and Jake felt tears sting his eyes. He had spent years carrying the weight of struggle alone, never expecting anything in return. But kindness has a way of circling back, even when you least expect it. That evening, as Jake cooked dinner while Lily colored at the table, he kept replaying the moment in his mind. Not just the job offer, but the look of genuine gratitude in the woman's eyes. He realized something powerful: you never know who you're helping. You never know who is watching. And you never know how one act of kindness might return. He looked at Lily, her small hands moving across the paper, her humming filling the kitchen. For the first time in a long time, he felt hope, real, solid hope, for their future. And that night, he whispered a silent promise to himself: no matter how his life changed, he would always choose kindness. Because kindness doesn't just fix cars, it fixes hearts, families, and futures. Let this story be a reminder that every little act of goodness matters. Sometimes the smallest gestures lead to the biggest blessings. And somewhere out there, someone is waiting for your kindness to inspire their next life-changing decision.